Hello, hello.
We're joined tonight with TFC, Bear, and the one and only TKO Smokey, the man himself.
Hello,
So,
hello.
hey, Beta 17 is literally, what, 24 hours old now? No, 48 hours old.
Yeah, 2 days.
Yeah, let's just kick it off. So, I'll go to Bear first. What's your thoughts on Beta number 17? We're now 7 years deep into development. What do you
Yeah,
think?
yeah, I really like it. The tires are definitely a lot more realistic, I think.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you. I don't think there's anything I found just yet that I don't like with it. I
Well,
think the
just
biggest
just the
thing,
sand. The sand is a
yeah.
bit slow,
Oh,
bit
and
heavy.
the horrendous wind noise, but luckily you modded
Oh
that
yeah,
for me,
I've
so
done that
it's
to
not
mine as well. So yeah,
not an
that's
issue.
definitely sorted it.
I did notice on MXB mods there was a wind fix, a
Oh
wind
really?
sound effects fix. Yeah, Insane did one, so it's
Oh
obviously
okay.
been a common request. But what about you,
Yeah, it sounded
TFC?
like
What
you're
do you
going
think?
about 200 miles an hour, didn't
Yeah, it was
It's like a
insane.
damn hurricane.
it?
And it kicked in so slow as well. You get to like 10 miles an hour and it's like, oh,
It's like a wind tunnel, man. It was
yeah.
insane.
I don't think I've ever been that fast in real life to get wind noise like that. That's like super bike down a highway with no helmet on,
Yeah.
like fifth gear pinned.
Let me interrupt real quick. What track are you guys on? So I'll make sure I have it so I can join the stream.
We're on
Um,
Ruben's race version of his St. Louis.
Oh, St. Louis.
2020 St. Louis Race Edition, I think it's called.
Actually, I don't think I have it. Let me go download it real quick and I'll join you guys in a bit.
Yeah, it's a cool track. What about you, TFC? So what's your initial impressions of the latest update?
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it, mate. I think it's solid.
I must admit, I know. So there was an issue, wasn't there? When it just dropped, wasn't there? I was working when it. Well, no, I was in bed when it dropped, and then
Well,
I
Yeah,
yeah.
went to
So
same.
work.
Yeah.
I went to work, so I didn't play it. But from what I was reading, there was something that was missing.
yeah, something to do with the physics, I think.
I think it was a rider physics file or something.
I did see videos, and there was some weird stuff going on. But
Really?
so when I got home from work, I downloaded it, and it had already been patched. So I don't know. I can't speak to as to what that first release was like. I only played the hot fix version,
Yeah.
and just immediately got feedback from Bear on what to do. Delete this. Don't use this.
Cheese wheels, isn't it?
Yeah, so I just jumped straight into it, working perfect, and yeah, I just rated it right out of the box. I thought it was I much preferred it. The bikes felt great. So
I'll tell you what I love
Nice.
most about it is, and I know this hasn't changed, but the bike feels like the proper weight. It feels heavy.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like as much as I enjoyed the last beta, I feel like throwing the bike around was a little bit unrealistic. It was very reflex-like, which I loved, but at the same time, it didn't feel quite simulation, if that makes sense.
I honestly felt in the previous build, especially, that the game was just too easy. It was too predictable
Yeah,
in a sense
definitely.
of you. How can I put it across? So you didn't. It was basically more of a case of knowing what the bugs were and how to avoid them, rather than learning how to be really fast. It was because you could do stuff like you could wheel tap some stuff out of corners and lean a certain way and make stuff that would have probably killed you in real life. So
Yeah, 100%, mate.
not that it was bad by any means, but this newest version has highlighted to me how sort of easy the last one was, and this does feel,
Yeah,
like you
definitely.
say, that inertia and that weight's been sort of added in or adjusted. And when you're on a 450 now, minus the speed, it definitely feels like when cornering and maneuvering in the air that it's got some weight now. And I think, in my opinion, which isn't worth anything, it feels more realistic.
You're funny,
Yeah,
dude.
definitely.
Well, it's the old saying, isn't it? Opinions are like assholes. Everyone's got one.
Yep.
Right.
So I don't
Well,
think there's
opinions are like penises. Like everyone's got them, but you shouldn't go around shoving them down other people's throats.
Well, yeah,
Not
yeah.
today's climate. Not today. Oh,
Be
dude,
honest.
this is the track that had the doubles going both ways.
Yeah, man.
Oh, this.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm riding this really well. I think I'm riding this better than I was in the last beta, to be honest.
So obviously we're on this stream is titled the Beta 17 Great Debate. So for whatever reason, there's a lot of controversy around this update and that it's pissing a lot of people off. I've read comments of, you just got to look on the Steam forums and see the absolute,
It's pretty toxic right now, to be honest.
yeah, the entitled child stuff of fix the game. How do I go back to the old update? This is trash. I'm not playing. Like one of the comments in a previous video I done, I can't remember who said it, but it's easy enough to find. Somebody was like, "Yeah, I'm just not playing anymore until it's fixed. I give up with this. You know, I give up with this game. It's just so broken." And I jumped on and played it and thought, like, I just couldn't genuinely see what the issue was. So, what is it that's really pissing people off with it? I don't. Like, do any of you know what it is specifically?
I think maybe the only thing that maybe could, I don't think anything should upset the people like that we're seeing right now, but the bike weight, like if you're not used to it, it can seem. I mean, people are saying they can't do oppo whips and stuff like that anymore, but that's not the
Oh,
case. Like I can still do oppos. I can
yeah,
still throw
Ruben done one
sideways.
earlier, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just I think it's just people were so acclimated to Beta 16 because there was such a wait from 16 and 17, whereas the
Yeah.
updates between 14 and 15 were a lot sooner.
Mm.
I think people were just so used to playing 16 for so long, and everyone
Yeah.
had played it. Everyone had adjusted the way they played and everything to 16, and then something comes out, and you can't just rip it the throttle wide open right when you hit the corner. You kind of gotta shimmy it around, and you gotta it's one of those things that I think if you don't just quit the game and you just play it for another few weeks,
Yeah,
you won't
definitely.
even remember what Beta 16 feels like. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, and I think as well. Like we've had this every beta, whether we
Yeah,
remember
this
it or
is
not.
It is.
this isn't a new thing by any
No,
means.
and like if you look back at the early betas, there was just less people. So like there was less noise, there was less people kicking off loudly and that. Now it's
I
everywhere.
don't
Right?
remember the change.
There was no
from
Discord.
No.
Yeah, there was no Discord.
the change from Beta 7 to Beta 8, or maybe it was Beta 8 to Beta 9. There was one of them. And I wasn't the entitled toxic teenager, but I was, it just put me off playing, so I sort of didn't play it for a bit because I didn't like the way it felt. But then when the next one came out, I just jumped in again and just got used to the way it was.
Mm-hmm.
But
I think the ground physics are amazing. The bike
Yeah.
feels the bike feels weighted, like it feels solid. Like it was kind of wispy, I would say. Like I don't know if that's the right adjective to use, but it just felt like you could flick it around too easy. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
And I think because of the slow physics are better. Um, and now I'm talking about tracks that are being made right now and from here on out, from 17 up. Like, I think the racing is going to be a lot different because with this new beta, you can actually dive in. You can like kind of be aggressive and go into an inside corner without having that that slow physics wobble a little bit. So
Yeah.
I think the racing's gonna be better in the end, and you just feel like you're again now you have less traction, but once you kind of it's one of those things you got to play around with. You know, like there's less traction, but if you're doing you know throttling properly, you're gonna get used to it, and you're
Yeah.
just gonna be
Which
able
you should
to.
do anyway.
Right, right, and it again, it's a simulator game. It's not fucking.
Mm.
That's
It's
I
not
think,
reflex. You know what I mean? Everyone wants to
yeah.
throw it
That's the
around like
biggest
reflex.
thing, is that there's people out there that are playing this game not even using rider lean. They're just
Mm.
I know
they're,
that's so weird.
That's crazy
they're
to me.
just
These are the
doing
people that are
corners
complaining as well.
without weighting the outside peg and all these things, and I think they're getting so used to just being able to pin it everywhere out of every
Yeah.
corner, you know, and use no sort of throttle control. But obviously, there's a big player base. Um, I don't think it's on Discord, but is obviously using all the controls how they should be used by managing, you know, your throttle control and weighting
Yeah.
outside peg and using your rider lean. I think that's why it wasn't such. I just couldn't see all the craziness. Like I can't whip, I can't corner, I keep crashing, but I jump on and it's like, oh, there's a little bit of change, but nothing's really changed. I think it's because the whole time we've been using the controls how you know, how they were meant to be used, and now that they've sort of tried to steer more in the direction of doing manual things, like the user of the game actually manually doing inputs as opposed to these hidden assists that, you know, is embedded in the game. They've sort of tweaked that, and I think a lot of people now are realizing, oh, I suck at the game. Well, yeah, you haven't been playing with the how the game was actually intended. You know, you're railing corners and doing whips and cornering without even using your rider lean, which is no fault of their own. You know, if people were made aware that these things were in place, then you'd know how to work around them. Do you know what I mean? If there was more communication on how, oh, we've changed this, which is actually happening in the background, because I don't think there's anywhere on Steam that tells you this game is fully simulated with no assist, blah blah blah. It doesn't say anything about, but we've added, you know, more little features in the background that the user is unaware of.
I think that's part of the problem. I think there's not enough transparency. I know there is, because if you go and look at the Piboso site or the forum and you read the daily dev updates, you get all of this stuff. But if you're just a casual player and you go on Steam and you look at the changelog, they don't list like absolutely everything that they've done.
No, nowhere near enough of what they've done. Is it?
Some stuff is pretty vague as well. Like I did read, and this is not a knock on any developers at all. I get it. You know, it's a 2-man team, and to them it's probably trivial stuff that is easily forgotten. But you know, things where it's like, oh, we've done other changes that will impact multiplayer, and it's like, oh, that sounds good, but what exactly?
Yeah, what are these changes?
Yeah, I know a lot of it's left to the user just to discover and think, oh, that's cool.
Effective work.
Yeah, that wasn't like this before. Like, I know there's been things in the past where I've discovered, like, classic example, I had no idea that in the rider selection, paint selection screen, your rider that you're looking at, the model, is actually animated and breathing and moving slowly. I never even knew that was a thing.
I think that was a couple of betas ago, wasn't it? That one.
Yeah, it was like about a month ago I discovered that. I was like,
Yeah.
my eyes playing tricks. Is he moving?
Gone nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never realized that either until I got the go-kart racing game, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And you know, it's very similar interface. You know, at the beginning, you got your rider by the cart and things like that, and he's got like his hands on his hips. And one of my homies who's like big into the kart racing game, he was like, dude, he was like, you know, the rider in MX Bikes is animated too. He's like breathing and stuff. And I was like, what? And went and checked it out. Freaking, lo and behold, old dude's a slow breather, but he's breathing. But I think it's gonna be cool. Like a lot of people are not talking about like, but we're gonna get some new rider animations. We're gonna have a new rider model. Like that's all. That's badass for the game, you know.
So do you mean like a aftermarket rider model in the sense that it's going to be made by modders, or do you mean that Piboso plans on adding a rider? I think so. There's a guy in leathers, but I haven't seen that yet.
Oh, okay. Or maybe he hasn't released it yet.
Yeah, maybe.
He's like after reading after all the backlash, he's like, I think I'm gonna keep him. I'm not gonna put it out now.
What do you think? What do you guys think that Piboso feels about all of this stuff? Do you think he's bothered about what the community think in terms of, you know, obviously he's put out something he thinks is quite solid and he's happy with, or him and Snap. How do you think they take this kind of stuff, this kind of feedback?
What do you think, G-Dub?
Sorry, I was just reading the live chat. Backyard MX Race Series.
Oh, that's ran by Vox Machine.
Right. Well, he makes a interesting point, which I sympathise with, but I'm not disagreeing with what he's saying, but this is the nature of the beast. So he says, I'll preface this by saying I don't play MX bikes right now, haven't for a few months, so I don't have any personal opinions on the state of the game. But as someone whose in real life job is to digest feedback and disperse it appropriately, I'll say the big deal to those players is that they were delivered a half-finished product for the sake of future development potential in the middle of the biggest SX series. Thankfully, Stone Rider is giving players a few weeks to adjust, but it's only a matter of time till we have to adjust again when the new beta comes in a few months. Why not just give these other quality of life? Yeah, thanks for that, Backyard. My only thing is, this is exactly, I put it in a comment somewhere that my biggest thing with it is, and we had this in 2020 because we tried to run our own series, but we were just faced with so many issues due to the game and its sort of oddness and the connections and all this, you know, all the stuff that everyone's familiar with. We decided just to give up because we realized we're doing this in the middle of a game that's still in development, it's still early access, it's still being worked on, and you know the first line you read, it says you know, it's subject to change. Things could stay, things could go, and it can swing both ways. You know, anyone knows you play a game that's still in development, one day it could be great, then they could drop a patch that just ruins the game and you're like, what the fuck? But it will get better. That's why some of us hold off on putting in so much time to become quote unquote pros and make official series, or you know, or even sell stuff, sell mods or whatever the case may be. It all kind of needs to be held off really until the game's fully released. That's my opinion. I think I'm not alone in thinking that, but
no,
it's almost,
I agree with you, and I think just to add to it as well, if you do decide to do it when it's in beta, then you
GP Bikes Forum, who does live commentary over there, he came over with us and we did a whole thing, set it all up, and it probably went like a few rounds. A lot of people ended up dropping out. I'm going the wrong way.
Oh, I was following you, dude. I was like, this doesn't feel right, man.
Smooth.
Yeah, a lot of people dropped out of that series, but they sort of kept it going. But the absolute jankiness was, we all kind of just agreed, look, this game is just, even back then, we didn't even want to put multiplayer videos online just because of how bad it looked.
Yeah.
And I do still cringe. Like, when I watched your series, Smokey, when I watch your streams with the Supercross, it's great. The idea's great. Tracks look fantastic. The riders most of the riders are just insane to watch, and it blows my mind. But there's still that absolute level of jankiness where people are just hopping about, skipping about, disappearing, reappearing. I don't know, man. I just...
People's pings all messed up, and it looks like they're just glitching through the race.
Yeah.
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 And that's the thing. I guess it almost does more harm than it does good, because A, it makes the game look just dog shit, and B, it frustrates the people that are invested all this time and think, oh, fuck this, or and when things like this do happen, when they drop updates that sort of vastly change the core gameplay, it's gonna piss people off because people are invested. And I think that sort of, it goes without saying to say any early access game, regardless of what it is or how developed it is, it's still subject to be fucked with, basically.
Yeah, it just feels worse than it is because it's such a small community too.
Yeah,
Like first of all, it's like motorcycle gaming. How niche can you get, right? Like
yeah.
it's like insanely small. So when you do have a lot of upset people, it just feels way worse than it is. But at the same time, it's like with putting new stuff out, like every update and things like that, it's like people are fans of the game, and that's kind of like where the word itself got its name, like from fanatic. So people that are really upset about it are literally acting fanatical. They're like, "What the hell's going on with my game?" When and they kind of just get a little I don't. They just get a little too. They don't. They. I mean, some of the comments that I'm reading, it's just like, what the hell are you guys saying? Like, just play the game for a little bit. You know what I mean? So it's
Well,
just
while
like,
you're on that, TKO is a great comment from Palster818. And if you don't know who he is, go and check him out. He's got a YouTube channel. He's a cool guy, does amazing edits, but he makes a really good point. And I
I
think
love
a lot of
Pilster. What's up,
a lot of
Pilster?
people can you know, take this and go away, and hopefully it will help him. But he says, I was one of those dudes that initially thought it was trash, but after giving it a little bit of time, I feel that it just needs some polishing. I think if the rider forward and back, this is the lean obviously, was a little more powerful, I think it would actually fix a lot of the aspects of the game that people keep talking about. And he's 100% right. Like, it's like anything. If you're new to the game and you've only ever played beta 16, this is going to feel so alien to you that it is going to blow your mind, and you are going to have that emotional response of where you want to call people names and cry. But
It's so funny.
just give it time. Like, get used to it, get used
Yeah.
to the way it is, and then you won't even look back. Like, there's been so many times that all of us,
Well, it's every beta, isn't it? Pretty much.
yeah,
It's
we've
been like
gotten
that.
used to it. It's dropped, and then behind closed. Yeah, definitely.
Thing.
I think the roll speed in sand needs
Yeah.
increasing, but I think that's going to be a difficult one because I think the heaviness of the feeling in the sand, the grippiness, and that weighty feeling
At the
that you get in the
moment.
sand, I think it's good, but
Yeah, definitely.
something needs to change with like the roll speed. It's almost like it's taking away just that tiny percentage of speed where you're like, yeah, I kind of feel like it should be a little bit faster.
It's almost like the compression breaking is like more of a thing now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you mean the engine braking? Yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
engine braking. It's more noticeable in beta 17, I think.
I gotta say though, I've probably put not much time, probably a maximum of say 4 hours on this, and I love it. I think it's a real good change, and the in air for me, because I was always manually leaning and brake tapping, and I've got my method of how I ride. It hasn't had a massive impact on me. And plus, I know a lot of
Same.
people are insane at doing whips and oppo whips and all this kind of stuff. But I'm just not one of those guys. Like, I can barely ride in a straight line and keep it straight over a jump. So I tend not to really try and go into that too much. But I try and read a few more live chats while I'm here, because obviously this is a hot topic that people want to hear about.
One thing I was thinking, I just now had this thought. It was actually Spencer Turley was talking about in his live stream earlier. Like, how much is the new beta actually the beta's fault, or you just haven't adapted your controls to it better? Like Pelser saying the lean forward and back could be better, but can't you just go into your controller settings and adjust the amount? You know,
Mm.
you could
The,
probably make it to where your rider front and back lean is like more intense just on your settings alone. What do you think?
I don't think so. I think 100 is the maximum, isn't it? You can
100
make
is
it
the
more
max.
sensitive.
I've got my gain on
Yeah.
150% for my front and back with no smoothing.
Yeah, but it doesn't give you any more movement though, does it?
No,
Total
no,
maximum.
that's
No.
it. That's all you get.
Hey, I'm just
But-
freestyling here.
No, I do agree with you. Actually,
Yeah.
I was going to hop in and say every single beta I've had to tune my my smoothing, or because I use the smoothing on some things,
Yeah.
like the rear brake, for example, so I don't always slide out. Yeah, and that's just what you've got to do. You've got to go in and get used to it and adapt and change and be willing to change and be willing to experiment and run loads and loads of laps. And maybe for
Like,
me that's a lot
man.
easier because like I'll be sitting there making tracks and I can just run lap after lap after lap. So I'll be testing it anyway. So I'll do my controls at the same time. But find a track that you like. Just go and run tons of laps, tune your controls, tune your bike, get comfortable.
Yeah, that's actually a really good suggestion for people trying to get used to the new beta.
So I did read people having issues with brake tapping, and I know this has came up before. A lover man in the chat is asking, how do you brake tap so hard? Well,
It's
I've
do with your settings, isn't it?
yeah, and I've never had an issue with it because the way my controller's set up and the way I lean, it's probably so unorthodox the way I ride in MX bikes. But as far as brake tapping, I figured it out, and it's a combination of these settings on my screen, which is your brake, and also, which is more important than the brakes themselves, is your leaning forward and back.
Yeah.
So
See, I lean back as I brake, and it just brings it forward a bit more.
Yeah, absolutely,
Brings
man.
it down a bit more.
Drops the nose so quick, doesn't it?
Yeah.
and it's and also another key element, like there's several things you've got to do. One is leaning, two is brakes, and three is letting off the gas. Obviously, if you let off the gas, your nose is naturally going to dip forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, you use the gas to
Another
catch.
thing, auto clutch. I wonder if that makes any difference.
No, I run auto clutch.
Yeah, I do.
I've never noticed it. Oh, you mean like if you take it off, does it?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're going to use the clutch when you brake tap, otherwise you're going to stall in the air, aren't you? So,
Yeah.
no idea.
So just trying to because it's all muscle memory how I'm doing this. When I try to explain it, it doesn't necessarily come across the way I feel it, but I try and explain to people now what I'm doing to see if it makes sense. So as I'm going at the jump, I don't know why, it's just an absolute habit, the worst habit, but I'm always sat down, but as I'm going at the face, then I stand off the lip, but I'm pulling down.
Okay.
So I'm pulling back on the rider lean. And then as I get to the top of the jump where I start to descend, that's when I'll push forward on the rider lean and brake. But I've got my brakes set up, they're combined brakes.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, same here. Same here.
Yeah, I don't run combined brakes.
Oh, do you not?
Well, I've found, for me personally, I set it up in such a way that you can have combined brakes, but you can change the bias of the brakes. So you can have it so it's front heavy or rear heavy, depending. But
I still
it's
have
like having ABS.
Yeah, I still have a separate button for the rear brake though. If I just want to use that.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, because sometimes you can initiate a sharp corner by quickly locking at the back end.
Little square up action.
I was just going to take an opportunity to, because I'm streaming as well, read a couple of comments. So I've got Dad Shoes, yeah? And he's saying, perfectly stated by Vox, which is what you read out, G-Dub.
Yeah.
And he's saying, the only problem is that this game will probably never be out of beta. The main source of growth is in this game is YouTube competitive racing. So how are we supposed to wait to grow the game until it's done? Now, I kind of agree with that in the sense that we always felt the same thing when it was a small community. We were like, look, we need.
Wait, anyway.
We needed it, didn't we? We needed Steam release. We needed an influx of players, and we knew that that was going to bring lots of different. What do you call it? Lots of different paradigms, I suppose.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot to it, but it is a fair point.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thanks, Dad Shoes, for the comment. It's just that double-edged sword, isn't it? Of you want the game to get bigger, you want it to get more popular, you want them to get more funds to enhance the development in some way, possibly hire extra hands to work on the things that.
Sound guy, cough cough.
Yeah, maybe they're not so clued up on. I'm sure for them, and in fact, I know for them. So maybe a lot of people don't know this, but it started out as an idea. MX Bikes was just always like a little pet project of Snap's. So Snap was working with Piboso. Piboso's main fame, really, in it, where they're on the streets busking. They don't care. They're just doing it for the music, and then all of a sudden they blow up, and it's like, wow, what are we gonna do with all this? And then it's trying to keep up and making the wrong decisions or adding stuff that's.
It's not unwelcome for them, though, is it?
No.
By any stretch.
No, not at all. And I totally get what Dad Shoes is saying. Like, how are you gonna grow a game to get it more popular when you essentially keep changing the core of that game?
Yep.
And I say it to whoever. I always feel like it's gonna be a never-ending cycle. Like I read on the Steam page today, I didn't even notice before, where it says we expect the full 1.0 release of MX Bikes to be 6 to 9 months after the Steam release.
Well, and how long has that been?
How long has it been on Steam?
I can't remember.
2 years.
2 years? Yeah.
2 years.
And I think it's a case of they get somewhere, then they uncover something else.
Yep.
And they get somewhere, then they overcome. It's like a never-ending cycle. I personally feel like, and it's already been in development for at least 7 years, possibly even 8. Without us even knowing. Like publicly, it's been 7 years, so it's probably been longer. And is that a long time for game development? Well, not necessarily. There's games. Look at Cyberpunk. So I've been following Cyberpunk 2077 since 2012, when it was announced, and that's
insane.
That's a AAA.
That's so long.
Yeah. Well, look at Star Citizen. I backed Star Citizen in 2013.
The problem
it's still not even out.
And this is the difference, though, between that. I'm just playing devil's advocate here, right? The difference is, how many times have they come across new technologies, new engine updates that they can do, and they've had to rewrite loads of stuff to take advantage of new technologies? Yeah. Whereas we're looking at an engine here that's probably, I dare to think how old. Yeah, I dare to think how old the engine is. Do you know what I'm saying, though? Like, we were riding hype maps in Motocross Madness back in the late 90s. So I can see why some AAA games could take so long, because, especially like on the scale of things like Cyberpunk or Star Citizen. This is just down to the fact that there's 2 guys, I think, and I don't know if it's their full-time jobs. Who knows?
Star Fox says, Milestone grows their game every year. The difference is the players are paying full price every year, twice. MX Bike, you pay once. Yeah, that's an absolute valid point. Because with Milestone, you're effectively getting their very first game, the Supercross game that came out. It's just revised tweaks. It's the same engine. It's the same everything. You're just getting essentially new content. You're not getting much in the way of massive groundbreaking changes. And like you said, so you can almost look at that as a subscription, like a subscription service. If you've got the same people paying $50 every year, it's guaranteed money when you're not spending that you're not spending that crazy money to find, Milestone ain't going out and advancing from Unreal 3 and then finding the latest, greatest technology that's, like the Cry engine or something like that. And yeah, man, it's a tricky one, really, isn't it? Like you kind of want the budgets from those places to be funding this kind of project. Like imagine if EA Games decided, you know what, let's make a motocross simulator, full simulator. Can you imagine?
Oh yeah.
Can you, like?
I've said it before, man. EA Supercross or EA Luxor Pro Motocross or whatever you want to call it they'd be amazing games.
If they
this thing is banging.
Yeah, next level. Same with RC's Championship Motocross. Back in the day, I was like, wow, this is sick.
It's just so funny to go look at those games now.
Just imagine though, like what Milestone have done with MXGP and Supercross. Imagine what EA would have done with that. They would have done, no offense to Milestone, but EA would have done at least a 3 times better job.
Is it me, or as those Milestone games, as each passing year, they've progressively gone backwards? They
Definitely.
seem to just get a little bit more restricted. They take away more and more to the point where it's just like, how did you go from this? Like a classic example, I was playing Supercross 3 a few weeks ago, and I immediately fired up Supercross 1 straight after, and Supercross 1 was 10 times better physics-wise, which is unreal. I know whips, that's just its own thing with Milestone games, but in terms of ground physics and the way the cornering and that, I thought, how do you go from that to what they're at now?
Yeah.
When 1 was so good in terms of cornering, how is 4?
Well, I think
like 10 times worse.
I think Kellaway hit the nail on the head with this one when he was talking about how they made it accessible to every age. They've made it accessible to every kind of gamer, even people that aren't really interested. And it's all about money, and it's like, you think about it, everyone's based on growth. If you're not growing, you lose investment. So investors want to see more sales every year, and the only way they're going to do that is if they expand their market range and appeal to kids and old people and people that aren't interested in motocross or supercross, but they see a bike and think, yeah, that'll be good, let's play that for a bit. Same way we do with car games, or maybe me, I don't know about you guys.
So I guess.
I don't think there's
17.
Sorry, go on.
I was just gonna say, so I don't know. It just seems like there's such a divisive opinion on Beta 17 and what people feel about it. But I think majority of people, and obviously I can't speak for everyone, but I think, and this is not to mean offense to anyone, but I think the majority of the more mature demographic of the game understand and appreciate and think, oh yeah, cool. We just gotta get used to it. Where I think some of the younger guys, it is like a total paradigm shift of like, fuck, like I don't even know how to do this now. I don't even know how to race or ride, or
yep,
they haven't got that ability or that mindset yet to think, right, I just gotta figure it out and adapt.
Here's an interesting one. Holes says, I used to develop GTA servers, and honestly, a beta for developers is just an easier way to say it's a learning curve to try new things.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I like that too.
That was pretty well said, I'd say.
Mm.
And I don't think that's 100% the case here either, because obviously they've got a lot of plan and direction, and there must be like a shopping list for the development of this, but we ain't seeing it. But it's definitely a valid point.
If they actually have, other than just Piboso and like a couple of the devs, like, do they have anybody testing before they release the betas, like, or is it just them two? You know what I mean?
No,
that's
we are
the community.
The community.
The sad reality is, the community who all buy the game and play the game, all of us we are the testers. So they've basically got this. I don't know what. I have no idea what the the community size is for this game, what it is now. But let's say it's 20,000. They've essentially got 20,000 beta testers. So there's 2 people with 20,000 reports coming in probably daily. And where do you even start? Like, and again, this is no offense to the way the development's done. I personally think that there needs to be some sort of something more solid in place. Be it a roadmap, what you're working on. Let us know what you're working on. What changes you've made, even the tiniest things that you think is irrelevant. Let us know.
Yeah, they should definitely get a group going, like where you can. It's either invite only, or you can sign up to be a developer when they're working on new beta. You have like
Yeah.
a hot fix. You sign into an account and you rip around. And I mean, the game Mad Skills, right? The phone game, right? Even feedback to the developers saying this was bugging the whole time. They take screenshots, videos of what's going on with the game. That way, it's more of a, instead of you have this pool of 20,000 writers to
Yeah.
pick from, you have like 50 guys, and it's more manageable.
Well, that reminds me of the old MX Bikes forum.
Yeah.
That's exactly what that was.
It was a lot more contained. There was probably less than, I'd probably say less than 50 people, to be honest.
Yeah, regulars anyway. And Discord.
I was actually, I did the same thing. I know, while we're on the subject of the testing and stuff, well, I was asked, this was years ago, when the MX versus ATV Reflex servers shut down after THQ went away, or they were bought out by THQ Nordic. So they shut the servers down for Reflex on console and on PC. Then I was invited. There was me, and I think the only other one from the MX Bikes community was Twitch 135. We were invited to do beta testing and to test the multiplayer when they were going to bring the multiplayer back. So we had to sign.
That wasn't long ago, was it?
Yeah, it was years ago. So we had to sign NDAs. Yeah, and we were given. We were given access code. So I was playing online with other players. So there's like 4 of us online testing, doing like race after race, skipping races, the vote for race, just Reflex online. And we did that for about 2 weeks of just testing, finding bugs, reporting back what we got. Then they switched the servers back on, and then credited everyone in the credits of the game. So if you ever play Reflex, look in the credits, and it'll say at the end, special thanks to you, and it'll say all our names, and you'll see my name in there. But
dude, that's sick. I had no idea.
Yeah, so if you want to know what bug I personally fixed, so there was an XP bug. When you'd finish a race, the XP would just dick out on some tracks, and I sort of picked up on this pattern of how it was doing it, and it was like this same pattern that was repeating each time, and then reported it, and they're like, oh yeah, sweet, we fixed it. And then it was fixed on a patch, but they weren't waiting 8 months between patches to fix stuff. That was like a couple of days, and then it was like, oh, we've got a 50 megabyte update, and then it's fixed. Right. Yeah.
Did they sort you out anything for that?
No, obviously, we didn't care, because we just were playing online. We're like, sweet, we've got the servers back, and we were in the credits. We didn't get any.
Yeah, they didn't give you like 50 quid Primark gift card or something.
No, there was nothing like that.
It's a shame, that.
Yeah, man.
It's because we were on the
Dude,
we were on the forum, the
though,
old
definitely get
Reflex forum.
What was that, TK?
I was just saying, with the GW clout now, I definitely get a few quids. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Smokey, you're super quiet, mate. I've turned you up as loud as I can in Discord, but I can't turn you up anymore.
Yeah, I might have to
there we go.
There he is.
There we go. I tend to laugh really loud, so I always move the mic back.
No, you're right. I've already been told off on the chat that mine's too loud, but I can't. I apologise, guys, but I can't check all the levels until we're all in, and then I have no way of checking it because we're all doing this. So. Hopefully, it's better now.
That might be cool. I'm not sure like what would have to be done like on the dev side to have like a beta testing group, but I think it's especially with a community that's growing as fast as this one is. I think it's pretty
Yeah,
crucial
it's
at this
time,
point.
isn't it?
Yeah,
100%, mate.
It's,
And all you need is a community test server and
yeah.
a trusted group of guys.
So pretty much
Yeah,
anyone that races professionally, they can't do it.
Yeah, definitely.
Any of the pros, you can't trust them, bro.
I think that's the biggest thing as well is finding the community. This game's expanding faster than a horse vagina, so it's hard to really narrow down.
The other thing is as well that I know why they're wary, because like how many times have you seen names coming up on the forum over the years, not so much recently, and people are like, I want to help develop the game.
Yeah, somebody offered to buy the game for 50 grand.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Yeah, back in the
Yeah,
day.
man, it was a good time. Shout out to Geo Fanatic, wherever you are.
Loving life, hopefully.
Yeah, man. Yeah, he was a legend. He was I don't know what he did for a job. I think he owned a couple of companies or something. Or
He was a geothermal heating installation company owner. So he owned a company what did underground heating and cooling and stuff.
And he came in on the forum one day and was like, look, Piboso, you're just too slow, man. Let me buy the game off you. 50 grand. I'll drop it to you right now in your account. And Piboso's like, nah, it's at least worth 3 times more than that. And then it just went back and forth. And in the end, he was like, look, just delete my account. Delete all my posts off the forum. I'm done. And then
he disappeared,
just went away.
He? Yeah.
Then
Sailed
he came
off
back,
into the sunset.
He came back, didn't he? Like 6 months later as Mystery Man or something. And everyone's like, this is Geo. He's like, no, it's not. And he went away again.
It was awesome, though. Geo hosted the first series we ever did.
Yeah.
The GTX.
He flew Stone Rider out to Monster Cup, didn't he? Or the last round of the Supercross back in like 2016.
Incredible.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stone Rider?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think Stone Rider was doing skins. Yeah, they had like a team. So he did all the skins for the team, and they were obviously chatting just about life and stuff. And I think Stone Rider said, it's been like mine and my brother's dream to go to Las Vegas to watch the Supercross. Hopefully we can go one day. And I think he was just like, I've bought you tickets. So just get a flight. You and your brother get a flight over, and
Jesus.
you can come to Supercross, and we'll go out for food and all this stuff. Yeah, man.
See, I used to talk to him about life and stuff, just chatting. And he once said, if you ever want to work for me, he goes, let me know. I'll fly you out for an interview. And I didn't disbelieve him.
Where's this guy? Is he from the UK?
No, America.
No, he was Oklahoma.
That's it.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, because he made Oklahoma Motorsports Complex, didn't he?
Yeah, is another story. So me and him were chatting just about life. We were on about PCs. Like, he was upgrading his computer. He was asking me, what should I do? You know, do you think this is a good idea? I'm like, yeah, I don't know. Then I get a message one day saying, what's your address? And I'm like, why? He goes, I want to send you something. So I sent him my address. And then about 2 weeks later, I get this envelope come through from our local postal service that says, you've got something from the USA that requires you have to pay customs import tax. So you need to go down to the post office and pay this tax. So, and it was £13. So that's like, I don't know, $17, something like that. So I went down there, paid it, and they gave me this envelope. And I thought, what the fuck is this? So I opened it up, and inside was an i7 4790K processor, just in this like plastic bag, no protective cover or nothing. It's just his old processor.
The hell, dude.
Pulled it out and sent it to me, and I'm like, you sent me this? He's like, yeah, I didn't need it. It was going to go in the bin. He goes, I would have sent you my GTX 980 Ti, but it cost too much to send.
Wow, dude.
He's a good dude.
Yeah, he was a good guy.
Those are the gems that are like the ones that you want to hold on to, that are just like so kind of just open and kind-hearted, you know?
Yeah.
As a person, he was fantastic.
Yeah. But as a MX Bikes player. He
As
wasn't.
he was, no, he was. He hosted a good series, and everyone got on with him. He was a great guy. He was a bit of an antagonist to the development team, but we just enjoyed watching that. So
He probably just loved the game so much. He just wanted the.
oh, he did, man.
He just wanted it to be the best it could be.
And I hope he's still around as a random gamer, alias, whatever.
You know he's still playing.
Yeah, I hope so.
FC,
The last
you're a
I
bit-
saw of
you're-
him,
you're a bit slow.
he was making model aeroplanes and posting them on YouTube.
Oh, in 3D.
Yeah, like total random.
Blender?
What?
Yeah, something like that.
Oh, in fact, here you go. Here's his claim to fame, isn't it? He made the first track making tutorials for MX Bikes.
What?
The first track.
Yeah, first track. He made the first track making tutorials, and if it weren't for him, I would have been way behind on making tracks because
He
that
imported
process
the
is
first
hard,
ever
man.
pair of boots as well. Do you remember that? He bought
Yeah,
a set of,
yeah.
MSR boots off a
Yeah, the
website
MSRs.
and imported them.
They were funky looking, though, weren't they? But he did it.
Yeah, they were massive.
Yeah, massive, like size 13s. Yeah,
Yeah, man. Hopefully,
it's groundbreaking. Some of the stuff he done.
I think so. A message to anyone out there who is just like so pissed off, and I get it. I think I read just a sec ago. Palster said that he likes the update, he appreciates the update and the work, but he feels like this one's just not for him, and he's just gonna sort of see how it goes. But I think that's the thing. You're never gonna please. It's just the nature of the beast. You're either gonna piss people off or you're gonna please people. We're in the camp of we're happy with it, and there's people in the camp of they're just gonna wait to see what hotfixes come, which are coming. So there is going to be changes made. I don't know when, but they are. We've heard through the pipeline that there's going to be some changes that are going to make people a lot happier. So hopefully they can please everyone.
I think that's all you can say, innit?
Yeah, probably. But yeah, if you are on the fence, you don't want to give up just yet. Just go and spin some laps and just try and get used to the way it feels. And for Christ's sake, set up your lean properly, like your rider lean, and learn how to.
Yeah, it does take a while,
left.
doesn't it?
Yeah. So
But it
if
is
you're going left
satisfying.
around a corner, you lean right with the rider lean, and vice versa. But and yeah, there is some janky stuff with MX Bikes. There's times when we play off stream where we're like, this game is just amazing, and then there's bits where you're like what the fuck is going on? Like when you land off something or you go up a jump and then you do like a 720 flare and you land and do like a 1080 flat spin and then you keep going and you're like, what?
But you see that in MX Simulator
It's
videos
funny.
as well.
Oh yeah.
That's the thing
MX
I
Simulator's
didn't
got that
realise.
massive advantage over this. And I always big it up, and I've told Snap this a million times, and he even agreed with me. MX Sims multiplayer is just flawless. I think it's flawless. There's no warping, there's no desyncing or any of that. Everything just seems to run smooth. So I don't know how JLV sort of nailed that.
Well,
Do you think we'll ever get remotely close to like faster syncing and all that on this game, or is that just not in the cards?
Man, honestly, this has came up so many times, and at one stage, we just were not hopeful at all, to the point where we were like, yeah, I don't know if this is ever going to happen. And then there were some small gains, but put it this way, it's been 7 years. We are where we are now with a multiplayer game. This is a multiplayer game. Yeah, you can play single player, but this is built for online racing, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Dude, me and
without
TFC
sounding-
doing battles out front, baby.
yeah, without sounding too much of a dick, the biggest aspect of the game in terms of like multiplayer connectivity, is it the most lacking? Would you say it's the most lacking part of the game?
I'd say it's probably one of the biggest complaints. Like,
Yeah.
just how long everything takes to load in and things like that.
Like, do you remember Reflex? So that was from '09, and I get it. It was probably the budget for that game was ridiculously massive compared to. I don't think there is a budget for this game. I just think it's what they sell is what they spend. But you could be in a lobby on that game, riding around in a lobby before a race started, and choose your bike.
On the
You
fly.
didn't even have to leave. Yeah, on the fly. You didn't have to
Great
leave the
idea,
game.
yeah.
You could just choose your bike in the lobby. Even Untamed. Do you remember that loading screen?
Yeah, that freestyle course thing.
Yeah, so we get the infinite sinking screen.
Yep.
And back in '07 it was '07, wasn't it? Untamed. You could just ride around while waiting to load.
I guess MX Bikes is no frills, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. It's like the diamond in the rough, and it's you look at it from the outside, or if you watch videos of it, you think, mate, is this game from like 2005?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like R Factor 1. I always think that when I play it, like this is like R Factor 1. And then you play it, and it's just got this charm of like, wow, this is actually really fun, but just looks. And even with Reshade, I'm sorry if any of you out there are like completely bumming the whole Reshade thing. I don't think it doesn't matter what plugins you put in, it still looks janky in some aspects, and it's just the engine. Who's the track creator that makes those insane detailed tracks?
JV.
Yeah, JV.
JV, yeah, that's insane, man. And I seen I think it was a Wyndham video with all those reshade plugins.
Yeah.
And it looked incredible. But the only thing that was holding it back is, I don't know, there's just something always off. Do you know what I mean? Whether if it's the bike physics or it's the way the bike handles, it just makes it look, I don't know, you need the perfect rider, somebody who knows how to ride perfect. But it doesn't matter who you watch, it's like, it always seems like the same. Do you know what I mean? Like there's these moments of jankiness where you think, that doesn't look right.
Yeah, man. You get it, don't you? Everyone gets it.
Facts right there.
You need an SSD.
SSD all the way, innit? Or a new one, the M2.
Makes a huge
Yeah.
difference.
Yeah.
I don't know. See, I didn't read this in the patch notes. Maybe they were there, but I didn't read them. But I swear this one, this beta is even quicker in loading
Yeah,
times.
it is. I
Yep.
noticed that straight away.
I think
Press
they
that
added.
play.
Right.
Sorry, I think they added texture caching, didn't they? So that once you've loaded something once, it caches it over. I don't know how long for.
Like
Yes.
your memory. Yeah,
Could
yeah.
be, yeah.
So if you restart your computer, you'll have to do it again.
Maybe.
Yeah. So if you quit the game and go back into it, it will load quick. Like if you keep your computer on, you play the game, you quit,
That's
go
me
back
right
and play
there.
later, it will still be Mate, you've been playing for like 2 days flat.
Dude, I just leave my computer on, bro.
Just sat in the
Yeah.
pits waiting.
Yeah, dude.
Wait
I
for
woke up
someone
this
to
morning
arrive.
and was just like, what?
Dude,
No,
I have
think
almost 2,000 hours on Steam, and probably
What?
1,500 of those hours are just like me AFK.
Wicked.
Jesus. I mean, I got 1,400.
Dude, I got
They're
more.
genuine hours, though, aren't they, Steve?
That's, well, yeah, kind
genuine
of.
mileage.
Genuine mileage, yeah.
Yeah, Smokey's has been clocked. Nice. So, yeah, man. So, Beta 17, I think.
I think it's a
this is gonna
grower.
be one of the- yeah, it's definitely a grower. But I think this particular build we're playing right now. There you go. Control V Beta 17. This is going to be one of those rare. Do you remember we had Beta 7, then we had Beta 7B that came out.
I
So
do
there was
remember
issues with-
some Bs, but I don't remember the specifics.
Yeah, so we had issues with Beta 7 because
Yeah.
this is how I remember it. You made Unadilla.
Oh yeah, B7B. Yes.
They released
Oh, yeah.
something, and it just wouldn't work. There was something that kept messing up and crashing people's games, and they had to hotfix it, and they fixed it. So then you fixed your track and called it beta 7. That's why it's called Unadilla B7B.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
I
So
never
is
knew that,
this-
but that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's and again, this isn't a new thing. So is this going to be one of those rare betas where some people love it, some people hate it, but it's not gonna have a short life? Like this time next week, we could be playing the patched version, or this time in 10 months, we could be playing the patched version. But
Oh, I think we'll get a patch pretty soon on this one. And I don't think it's
Yeah.
going to be what everyone wants, but I think there's definitely some stuff that, is going to need.
It's usually a few days after anyway, isn't it? Or a week after they patch it.
I think they have to validate it, don't they, and make sure that what they're doing is
Yeah.
definitely going to be okay.
I'm not sure how long the Steam submission takes either. I don't think that's a quick process.
That's a good point.
Because doesn't somebody have to like go through their code or something? Is that right? They have to check, go through the code. They have to go through
I'm not sure.
something anyway. There's a team of people that they have to send it to.
Is there an advantage for anyone keeping their game on Steam as a beta? Like, is there an advantage to that, or
What, do you mean as in when they release, maybe they have to give more profit to Steam directly?
that's what I mean? That's kind, yeah. Like, is it
Something
more
like that?
Yeah. Or I mean, like, do you think it'll ever be just a fully released version, or is it just gonna be kind of beta? Well, it'll be like 2025, when we're like beta 32. You know?
Well, that's what Dad Shoes was saying. Is this ever going to be out of beta?
Well, I want to chime in here. So, and this again, this isn't a knock on Snap or Piboso, but I think personally, Piboso is too much of a tweaker and a perfectionist to the point where look at all his other games. So let's just stand back and look at it from a factual reality stance of, so he's got 4 games. None of them are finished in a what you would call a finished state.
Hang on,
I
is
don't know, is kart
GP,
racing
hang
fun?
on, GP Bikes is released now, isn't it?
Is
Yeah,
that
it's
on
on-
early
it's
access?
on
Only on,
Steam.
only on Steam though.
Is it?
Is it early
was.
access?
I thought it was
I
version
think
1.
I think
Yeah,
KRP is.
Oh, is it
released,
KRP?
isn't it? Yeah.
So
I
KRP
knew
is
one
the
of them
only
was.
non-early access
Well,
one.
that's the oldest one, isn't it?
That's the
Yeah.
original.
So that's
Yeah.
finished. But he's still working on. Let's forget World Racing Series' rally kart game.
Yep.
Yeah.
So he's still got 2 motorbike simulators, one motocross, one street racing,
Mm.
early access on Steam. Both of them, GP Bikes has been going since, is it 2008?
Oh, it's early, isn't it?
So what's that? 14 years?
Mm.
And that's in early access now on Steam.
That's crazy.
MX Bikes has been going since 2014. And I've said this over and over again.
Whoa.
It just feels like, when is the finish line coming up? Like, like I said earlier, the Steam page says we hope to be out of early access, full release within 6 to 9 months. Is that some
Yeah,
sort of trick
that's
Ronnie Mac thing
crazy.
going on there? But
That's optimism.
I think
Yeah.
Dad Shoes is absolutely right. I just think the way they are, they just think, oh no, look, we'll just do this. Oh yeah, let's just add this. It's like a ever evolving thing,
Mm.
which isn't a bad thing, but get it to the point where it's stable online. The physics is
Yeah.
stable enough. Then add all the fluff.
Then do all the other
Let's-
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
See,
add
this
the
has been-
wheelies.
This has been our argument for a long time, hasn't it? That we're not interested so much in the nice little tweaks, the little polishing tweaks. We're interested in the core experience. And whether that's physics or online, but online definitely takes, I think, has to take the centre stage first and foremost, because it's an online game, isn't it?
Yeah, and
That's got to work.
Pelster and Star Fox make some great points. Pelster says, I'm fine with it being in beta, it's just a title. It's like an open book. I'm cool with them continuing to try and improve stuff. Star Fox says, do we really want an MX Bikes version 1 in its current state, i.e. development stops? I'm not sure it's a good idea. Pelster says, right now physics is on everyone's mind, but maybe one day we could get a nice graphical update. See, that's the thing. And great game developers, like I've got plenty of games on Steam where the games have been out years. they're not in a beta phase, so they're not testing, they're not trying to fix bugs and stuff, but they're simply just going back, adding more content, tweaking little bits here and there, and just refining the experience.
Yep.
And I'm fine with that. I'm totally fine with that. And I think that's what they're doing, to be honest, is they're just constantly adapting what they've got. And it's
Dude,
just
he's
two
secretly working at Milestone.
Moonlighting.
Yeah, Moonlight.
Yeah, man. Are they always gonna get it right?
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
We all fuck up. We all make. I wouldn't say this is a mistake. Maybe that whole they missed out the physics file, which really fucked people off.
Definitely a mistake.
That was a mistake, but
they fixed it in like the first 2 hours.
Yeah. And when did the patch come out? It came out like, I swear it came out like 2 a.m.
in the morning. Yeah.
It was weird because I follow MX Bikes on Twitter, and I posted because they did a little tweet about it, about the thumbnail of like the number 17, and you're like, oh shit, beta 17. And I remember thinking maybe I'll make a video talking about, oh, it might be pretty soon when they release the beta 17 patch, and like almost like when that thought crossed my mind, they actually released it. I was like, holy shit, that was quick.
I think
so
go on.
Oh no, you go on, mate.
I was going to say the only downside of this for me, right, real downside, is that we've waited nearly a year for it.
Yeah.
And that is
May, wasn't it, last year?
That's more unfortunate than anything. It's not a direct. I'm not digging at the Piboso guys for saying, why couldn't we have had little updates along the way rather than one big one? Because I get it, they've got other games to manage. A year is something we're quite used to, isn't it? Because going back, that's pretty typical.
Right.
Yeah, and I don't want to jump on the fucking hate train and sound like an absolute entitled prick. So I know, because I spoke to him, that Piboso was going through some crazy shit in his personal life, like stuff that was just so much, which made MX Bikes and all this was just such a tiny irrelevance to him. Like, he could give two fucks about it. He has some serious shit going down. So, and again, it's just a two-man team. So what happens when, let's just say you're a developer, something fucking horrific or tragic happens in your household, and you've got to deal with that and live with that for however long until you're over it and in a better mental state to go back to work again.
Yeah.
Life throws shit at us, man. So anyone out there jumping on them, giving them fucking hate and stuff, understand that these are people as well that have shit going on in their lives. This isn't the end all, the be all and end all. This. So.
Absolutely.
Just remember that,
Yeah, there's a difference in like having an opinion about something, but then when you get into like freaking calling people names and just attacking them personally, that's like constructive criticism is what the community needs. It's not this like me versus your opinion of the game. You know what I mean? It's like
absolutely.
And being like criticizing something in a constructive way versus just like being toxic. And I think that's like, I'm all about like people voicing their opinions on whatever the hell they want to, but like there's a way that you're supposed to go about it. And again, a lot of the people that play this game, they don't even have a driver's license yet. You know what I mean? So they're not matured emotionally, or even their brain hasn't fully developed yet. So
they're still virgins. You mean? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Their
pillows don't count, by the way.
Yeah. So like it's you kind of gotta know who's in the community and whatnot, and like as like I would say, I would call you a leader, you guys leaders of the community. Like, it's like important for you to come out and say, hey, like it, just to give a constructive opinion about something. So I think leading by example is like a good start.
Well, that's cool, man. But I mean, I was saying to Ruben earlier today. I think 24 hours, even 48 hours, is way too soon to be given any kind of feedback on anything. And I think that's also part of the problem, is people have jumped on it instantly.
6 days,
Yeah,
whatever.
give it a week.
Right.
If you're still
But
angry
also-
about it after a week, then make a forum post or whatever.
Right.
So
But I saw all these videos like right off the bat. They were like, Beta 17 is shit. Beta
Yeah.
17
oh
is
yeah,
garbage.
he's trash. Yeah.
Like the game's been out for 30.
Started GP Bikes, so hired Snap, who's the other developer, to create stuff for him and help him out. MX Bikes was then an idea, so understand that GP Bikes was already well into development. People were playing it. Then MX Bikes came along, say 6 years later. So they started developing MX Bikes on the side. So Snap took on the MX Bikes part, while Piboso still focused on GP Bikes. Snap's looking at MX Bikes, and then that's really starting to gain traction. This is where the forum came. It got heavily popular back then, and then they realized, fuck, our main bread and butter is
They
MX
didn't
Bikes.
realise.
They
Yeah, they
didn't
didn't
realise
realise
that-
how big it was going to get.
MX Bikes became like, 4 times the size of what GP Bikes did. So they felt like, if we start developing MX Bikes and putting more resources into that, we're shitting on our original community from GP Bikes. So it's now they're in this situation where it's a balancing act. Like you've seen it in the latest patch notes. It says he had to take a step away from MX Bikes to help out the GP Bikes because they've been patiently waiting for their patch as well. So he's had to juggle back and forth, and that is, we all say, you should just focus on one game, but it's easier said than done when you've built that.
Yeah. I think he did say that he was going to concentrate on MX Bikes now for a bit, though, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. And that's the thing. He's obviously loyal to his as a developer. I don't even play it. I just gave him my money, and because this is what.
Because he didn't ask for more.
Yeah, and look at the guy that offered him money. Like he even offered him a donation. Because I remember chatting to the developer.
50K.
No, I think he offered him. He told me he offered him $9,000 as just a donation. Like, take it. Just take it. And he's like, no, I don't want your money. I want to do this my own way. I want to just do it. I don't want charity. And yeah, he's a funny old character. The main developer of this game. It's weird. He's like, no one really knows much about him, or
he's mysterious, isn't he?
Bit like the sloth, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
Is Piboso the sloth?
Yeah, it could be.
Man.
Holy
Speaking of the sloth, we haven't seen him since Christmas. He's probably dead in a ditch somewhere.
Yeah, he's probably hungover.
Yeah.
Still.
Anyway, you have to respect him because put yourself in GP Bikes player's shoes, yeah, and like imagine he's made MX Bikes first, and then he goes off and makes GP Bikes, and it makes a shit ton of money. You're thinking, well, great, that's the last update we're getting. But no, he keeps coming back and he keeps updating the game and he does his best to juggle. You gotta respect him for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's not sat in a studio somewhere. That's his 9 to 5. He's getting paid 60 grand a year to do that. I imagine a lot of it is like spare time, hobby time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He sets aside a certain amount of hours a day to do it. But
yeah, very possibly.
Yeah. So, in a nutshell, I love Beta 17. I think it's awesome. I haven't tried doing some like crazy whips yet. Let's have a go.
Yeah, it's quite hard in Supercross.
Yeah, jumps
you
quite
don't
small.
get very long. Yeah. I see what Ruben's on about now.
And Ruben's track's like 0.85 to 1, isn't it? That's
It feels like it.
Yeah, it does.
That
is a joke, though.
Yeah, I think it's 1.1, isn't it?
I don't know. It's definitely.
I can't remember.
It's definitely 1.1, isn't it? If it's any more, then I'd be amazed. But it's tight.
He probably wouldn't even remember either.
Oh, he would. Of course, he would.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to Phrase for dropping me a donation, mate. That's really quite random. I didn't even know you could do that. I will spend that wisely.
What did you get?
He gave me £5. So
I believe that's the $5 holler, isn't it?
Is that the $5 holler?
I think so. Yeah.
sweet. I could probably afford a lower end porno mag now. So cheers to that, man.
Razzle.
Well, you don't drink, so you can't buy alcohol.
Yeah.
You don't do drugs.
I don't smoke weed. I don't drink.
Don't smoke.
I can't even ride a motocross bike at the moment.
Oh yeah.
I was gonna put you over Tipsy. I decided not to.
Yeah,
That was tight.
Maybe you could put it towards like MRI or something.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, how much is an MRI scan in the States there, Smokey?
Yeah, bro, like thousands of dollars.
Thousands, really?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's the
Yeah,
start.
I mean, if you go to a doctor, they put off MRIs for a while unless you're just filthy rich because it costs.
Well, they do that here anyway, but obviously the government's paying for it. That's why they put it off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
I
you
guess
don't
if
really
you're-
need one.
If you're wealthy enough and whatever, yeah, go for it. But MRIs are no joke. They're super expensive.
That's crazy. I mean, the American healthcare system is crazy.
I was gonna say, not to get into a whole other tangent, but it's not the best.
Yeah, man. I still think the Earth is flat, so at least there's that.
Hot take.
That is a hot take.
Yeah, I'm dropping knowledge, man.
Beta
Sasquatch,
17. We found out that the
UFOs.
Earth is flat.
Okay, maybe obviously the flat Earth thing. Obviously that's a joke, but I'm telling you now. Yeah, and Steve just said this. I'm telling you now, Bigfoot exists. That is real. You'll see soon enough.
I hope you're
drop my
right.
new crack. Yeah.
Yeah, we all do.
Right, dude.
Mate, I heard a wild story the other day, and this is wild, so hold on. If you're in a live chat, you want to hear fucked up, hold on. Okay, so there's this guy, a rancher out somewhere in the lone parts of America somewhere, I think, and he's got these like prize bulls and horses and
Is this
things like that.
a real story?
This is a real story. So
Holy moly.
he heard this like horrendous screaming one day, runs outside and sees a Bigfoot bumming one of his horses.
What?
So
Dude.
I won't
This
say
is
it
a
on the
story
stream
he
'cause I
tells?
just get taken down straight away. He said the horse, he said this Bigfoot, he said this like 9 foot tall creature was behind his prize horse with his hand, with a hand on each leg, like behind it, and just going balls deep,
Balls deep.
hammer and tongue, yeah, just slam, 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 and then he said then it started braiding the horse's tails. He noticed that when he would go out in the mornings, he would notice some of the horse's back passages would be expanded and the tails of the horses would be braided. So he put 2 and 2 together and thought that these animals were coming along and like abusing these horses whilst braiding their tails, and then would just run off into the
Oh my
night.
god,
Yeah, that's quite out there.
Yeah, that's
that
fucking
is
nuts.
pretty out there.
It's a trip right
Mate,
there.
like this is what makes life so great. Like
What variety?
yeah, variety, the mysteries of the universe, man. Like how boring would life be? Like I once worked with a guy that said, I'll just tell you the story. So we were working a night shift. He came into work with a telescope because he was a bit of a sky watcher. And so we would work. And when it was our break time at 2 a.m., we would go outside in the summer and just stand out there and chat and eat and, you know, break time. And then one day he whipped out this telescope. What a sort of, I don't know, empty, sort of boring way to look at it. I love to think that there's...
Isn't that
Yeah,
kind of
definitely.
a slang term for UFO watchers? Aren't they like called sky watchers?
I
No
don't know.
idea.
Oh, sorry.
I'd like to think there's other stuff going on around us that we're unaware of, like other dimensions and ghosts and spirits and fucking UFOs and Bigfoots running around banging fucking horses and cows.
Braiding their hair.
Yeah, man, just tearing it into them. Like, life's just so much more interesting.
Well, what a nice way to end the live stream.
There you go.
Dude.
Dropping knowledge.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
The guy was in Wales. This is Star Fox. Okay, the guy was in Wales. The horse was a sheep. Bigfoot was a guy in an ape suit.
Yeah.
Mate, you'll have to tune in to one of my other live streams where we
Yeah,
touched on that.
couple of weeks ago, wasn't it?
It was a couple of weeks ago about the putting sheep's back legs into a pair of water boots, and then people
I actually
go
showed my
ballistic.
missus that. That was quite funny.
Now, y'all gotta give me some context here. Like, is Wells just known for like being really backwoods? You know?
They're into their sheep.
Wales is its own entity. They although some of them speak English, they have their own fucking language as well.
Oh my god, yeah, their language.
What's it called?
Cymru.
It's
It's just
Cymru,
what.
is it?
Yeah.
Dude, I used to play.
It's like Russian.
I used to play Supercross. I think it was the second game with this guy from Wells, and he was a drug dealer. He like sold ecstasy. Like he used to like send me pictures on Discord of just
You
like.
still got his contact.
Dude, he messaged me one day. He was like, "What's your address, dude? I want to send you some ecstasy." And I was like, "Dude, don't send me any ecstasy.
Fuck.
Don't send me anything."
Oh mate, I've got a great story that it can't be shared publicly, unfortunately, because it involves one of my family members. But you'll hear it and be like, "Wow, that's fucking awesome." So sorry to everyone in the live chat, but I don't want that family member to hear this and then for them to go crazy about it. So
You'll have to get in on that Discord if you want to find out the whole story.
yeah, man. But yeah, so to close, we thought we'd do this beta 17 great debate, although it hasn't been a debate, and we had no one that was like on the opposing side. We're not on any sides. We're just giving our opinions of what we think of it, and it, at the end of the day, it's like we said at the start of the stream. Everyone's got an opinion. There is no right one. There is no wrong one. It's just people feel how they feel. People think how they want to think, and life is what it is. So hopefully the people that enjoy it can keep enjoying it while it's here, and the people that don't enjoy it, hopefully there is a little hotfix coming along the pipe like very soon. So
Yeah, and also it's worth pointing out, I didn't get to a lot of the chat, but I had a couple of opposing viewpoints posted that I didn't read out. I think it's a bit too late now, really, considering we're just about to end the stream. But I appreciate you guys.
Just hit them out.
All right,
Bang
yeah,
'em
okay.
out quick.
So I got. Let me just go back.
Oh, mate, I dropped my controller earlier, and now the cable for it is like temperamental.
Oh, you got to prize them prongs out again, man.
They're just dog shit.
Yeah, I had Aiden. Right?
Aiden,
I don't know.
Yeah.
Myself.
You used to do Fast Fridays, didn't it? Two of us.
Yeah, and our race series back in 2020. He was in my chat at the same time asking the questions.
Oh, was he? So he says, myself and top players in the Aerial Supercross Championship, not one person has been happy with the update. Everyone is saying that we have less control of the bike and the skill gap.
Pick up and play. See, I felt that about the last one. It was like you had unlimited grip, unlimited traction on the last one.
I feel like this one's harder to pick up.
It's just amazing the difference of opinions, and obviously they're at a much higher skill, so they feel like it's got even easier.
It's going to be more obvious, isn't it? I guess.
Yeah. Well, let's just hope, Aiden, that like I said, there's a fix coming along that it can keep, both sides of the. We're not a team, and it's not divided. It's nothing like that. It's just people that like it and people that don't. But we're all, we're all moto brothers in the same boat. Let's just hope we all get something that everyone can agree they like.
If you don't think the game's only gonna get better, just go back and watch some of G-Dub's old videos of like Beta 4. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
they are.
Oh yeah.
Dude, go look at those. It's only gonna get better. Like,
but I think that's what gives us more perspective.
Right.
Yeah.
Because we endured those hard times. You know what I'm saying? And I say that lightly because like at the time they weren't difficult. At the time it was like, wow, this new beta feels amazing. But looking back,
like Beta 4, this is sick.
Yeah. Oh, you were. Remember Beta 1? You didn't even have air control.
Yeah, all stability.
All
control.
stability. Yeah. It would slip out. You'd tuck the front end. You'd dead sailors everywhere.
You couldn't even like go around a corner, could you?
No.
Well, you could, but
it was difficult. You had to tiptoe, didn't you?
Yeah.
It was very. like some of my early videos of like beta 2 or beta 1, it looks so basic. Like you're just riding super nerdy, straight, hitting jumps and stuff. But back then, people were like, wow, this is amazing because
Yeah, it was.
he can do a clean lap.
Yeah.
And it was a challenge. And then I always remember one, we didn't do a live stream. This is way before live streaming and stuff. But TFC built this track. I can't remember the name of it, but it was like a whip track. And me and him spent a night on it. And I think it might have been beta 2, where we were just ripping and trying to do the fattest whips known to man. And we started to master how to do whips. And then we did a whip contest. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when you made Paletta, the original one. We did a whip contest on there, but even the whips back then, it's like, it felt so much, you got so much satisfaction because it was so weird to like manipulate the bike to do it. When you could do it, it was just so satisfying, and then it just got easier and easier. So in retrospect, looking back at all that, it's like, man, it's crazy to think where it was at to where it's at now. And it's still not even, fully ready to go, if you like, now. But
Yeah,
have faith.
Have faith. Exactly. And don't for 1 minute think that if there's a bunch of you and you're going to not play the game and leave, that's really going to affect things, because it ain't. There's always going to be more people coming on. Whoa.
Also, just to add to that, think before you go onto Steam forums and start posting toxic, I can't play the beep 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 game because it's beep 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 crap and blah blah blah, and to think what that's actually going to do. If you think by doing that, that's going to provoke the developers to think, fuck, I better change it immediately, all it's going to do is bury their heads where they're going to think, you know what, fuck these guys, they're going to go dark. Because we've seen it before. I'll tell you a little story before we close out. So
we have, haven't we?
There was a time on the forum where, and I can't remember what it was, there was something where Piboso implemented something, or he wanted to implement something, and literally everyone tested it, and everyone was like, no, this is the wrong direction. And he's like, no, it's not. And where everyone's like, yes, it is. Like, it really is. So he put a poll out, and it was like, do people think this or that? And then everyone, said what they said. He didn't like the answer. So he himself was like, well, I'll do it, but I'm going to stop doing this and stop doing that and stop doing this. Almost like, I don't know. It was a weird time. Do you remember that, TSC?
That was when we lost the daily updates, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because I can't
remember what it was.
Every day we were getting did this, did that, this has been updated, and then all of a sudden it stopped when it wasn't a fallout, but it was just like a re-establishment of the boundaries, I guess.
Like he was just like kind of not being spiteful, but
well, yeah, being spiteful is exactly what it was. Like, no offense, Piboso, but that was a very like sort of cringe child moment where you thought you were making the right decision. The community came together and was like, no, this is the direction it needs to go in, and then give him his due. He was like, yeah, well, if that's what everyone thinks, then I'll do it. But it came with a price, if you like, which was, I'm not going to tell you what I'm doing every day. But that did eventually come back and he calmed down. But
I remember it, but I don't remember it, if that makes sense. I don't really remember what it was
I can't remember. I can't remember what
this is years,
was.
man.
I remember that Piboso's a freaking human being too, so if you come at him like all aggro and like saying all this shit, he's probably like, how, before you like go posting all this stuff, like think like how, if you had worked hard on something and then that was the response you were getting, like how you would feel, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And to add
how many years he's been working on a game?
He's probably got so many gray hairs right now.
And it's like 1 out of 10 comments is actually constructive. The rest is just nonsense. How do I revert back? This is bullshit. You suck. The game's bullshit, or
I'm not
whatever
playing.
people say. Yeah, like
which was my point. Like, that's really going to make a difference to what he thinks.
yeah, that's not gonna push him to think, oh, I better fix this immediately and please these people. They're just gonna go dark and think, do you know what? That's gonna make him bummed out to the point where they think, do you know what is the fucking point?
Well, to add as well, like what I was
going
to
to
say,
delay the updates.
When Smokey was, I can't remember what you were saying. Yeah, how to approach him, or provide constructive criticism. Thing is like you want an open relationship with a game developer, and we had that with Piboso. We had a really good open two-way relationship, and we've lost that a lot. Yeah, it was, and we lost that a lot over the years with the influx of the entitlement.
Yeah.
And the lack of constructive criticism and the instant gratification feedback and all of that. And as soon as we got that, we lost that two-way relationship.
Yeah. And, Steam in itself and the rise of the popularity of Discord in itself was almost the double-edged sword. It was detrimental to, that core that was there from the beginning.
Yeah.
But also brought in a trove of cash at the same time.
This is what I was saying earlier: is we knew we needed it if we wanted the game to develop, we knew it needed to happen. But we also knew it was going to bring things that we didn't necessarily want to see happen to the game, but they're necessities, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, thanks everybody for tuning in. Just do some last shout outs. So shout out to KTM Jones 814. Pib is awesome for what he does. Shout out to Star Fox for moderating the chat. I'd like to point out difficult doesn't equals realistic. Yep. Pelster 818. Shout out to you, mate. He says it's like people in Louisiana. I speak English, but I can't understand half the backward stuff they say. Yeah, man, shout out to everyone that joined the live chats now, and thanks for coming, TK. It was good. I know I messaged you late and you were like, yeah, I'll come on. And
dude, always a pleasure.
Cool to get your opinions, man. Thanks, Steve. Man. Thanks, TFC. And I don't know if we're doing a Supercross recap this week, so
we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Are you guys going to be doing this every Friday? Little stream every Friday?
Well, this was just basically. I know we did Fast Fridays, and that went for a while.
Yeah, that was a good run, wasn't it?
Thing is, I work shifts, and it's just bullshit. It's just finding the time to
maybe like once a month that we could do it, I suppose.
Yeah, we'll sort something out. Like we have been doing the Supercross recaps on Sunday, where we just sort of play a bit of MX Bikes and chat about the race from the night before, because obviously we can't watch the Supercross over here until at least 3 a.m. if you want to stay up and watch it on Peacock. I think that's when it starts streaming.
Yeah, it's 3, yeah.
So most of us are up Sunday morning at like 8 a.m. to watch it, something like that.
Right.
So we've been doing like a recap for the last few weeks. We didn't do it on Sunday, but maybe this Sunday. So I don't know.
Yeah, maybe this Sunday.
About TKO, maybe I don't know if you're about Sunday, about the same time.
I was gonna tell you, also I got a few buddies. We'll just hang out in Discord and we'll watch movies and
excellent.
I'll live stream the race from Discord. So I know a few Euro guys that will pop in and just completely mute just to have the race on in the background. So if you guys are ever I want to check out the race, I usually have it streaming in the Discord if y'all want to stop in and.
Oh, that's cool, man. Thanks for the offer.
Oh, nice. Cool. Hopefully NBC isn't listening to that.
Yeah. If we ever do a all-nighter.
Yeah, dude, we can just fucking
get some of that ecstasy your friend had.
Yeah, man.
That ecstasy,
send it this way.
Ooh.
Yeah, so I also want to say thanks to everyone for coming in. We've had loads of people watching this video, which has been great, this live stream. Thanks to Fat Muppet, thanks to Croft. He says the younger generation just doesn't want to put in the work to learn new things nowadays. Nothing lasts forever, and everything is constantly evolving. Learn to adapt. Wise words, mate.
Yeah,
Very nice.
survivability, man. That's how you got to survive, adapt, overcome, mate.
Yep.
Survival is the key. Adaptation is the key.
Yeah.
Brian
You don't
Smith,
adapt,
we are the
fall
guinea
behind.
pigs.
Dude, Darwinism
Yeah.
right there, boys.
Yeah.
Dropping knowledge, man.
Thanks to everyone for coming, and thanks, Smokey. It's been nice having you on, mate.
Again,
Right.
always a pleasure. I love talking to you guys.
Yeah, we love talking to you, Smokey. It's a good relationship, man. Especially
That's-
that Pokemon stuff. That was just.
That was classic.
Oh yeah, we
Ooh,
need more of
yeah.
that.
Yeah, we need more. You must have more in the archives. But on that note, we'll be back Sunday, possibly. So, yeah, enjoy Beta 17 for anyone who enjoys it. And hopefully the patch comes to those who don't. Hopefully that'll be here soon. But yeah, thanks for watching. And we'll see you guys next time.
See you later.
Bye.